Hey, and welcome to the Drep and Stone podcast, a podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
Kyle, occasionally we have the opportunity.
Yeah, very special occasion.
The honor, the privilege.
Indeed.
The pleasure to have friends on the podcast with us. And today is one of those days.
Indeed it is.
And who do we have?
We've got Mr. Grant Wood.
From BERO Brewing. BERO.
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 BERO. What's the pronunciation?
Not BERO.
BERO.
BERO. Yeah. Grant, how are you?
I'm great. It's been a nice day. I had a little early meeting and then kind of had the mid-afternoon. Went over, since we're in Denver, since I'm speaking to you from the Colorado Convention Center in Denver, Colorado, home of the Great American Beer Festival. You know, I had to have a chance to get over and have a Pils, so I went to Lager House,
very nice
Lager House, and met a couple of friends and had a slow pour Pils, and so
fantastic.
Yeah,
it's
good.
To the day.
Good start to the day.
Yeah, Grant brought it up. We didn't even bring it up. We're here at the Great American Beer Fest.
Yeah, great festival they're putting on here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 3 days of nothing but just great times and hanging out with great people, friends, a lot of brewers like yourself, and a lot of people, just industry people, and a lot of media people too. So it's a lot of fun. And again, we get the opportunity to hang out with people like Grant. And,
thanks so much for joining us.
Good to be here.
We're super excited.
Good to be here. Thanks.
We're also going to try some of this amazing beer.
Yeah, totally.
And bring it to everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Grant, as we get started here, I think probably the best way to start is with a beer.
Yeah.
I'd say we start with a beer.
It's good. I mean, I am a little thirsty, so I had a little sandwich earlier, and I'm going to... There we go.
There you
it's
go.
A very lovely sound. So, yeah, we're going to lead off with our BERO Noon Wheat. And so, cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me on. Noon Wheat is named after Tom Holland and Zendaya's dog that they share. His name is Noon. He's a little miniature schnauzery looking thing.
Oh, very cool.
And so when we started this project, the BERO project, to get these going, it was one of the first decisions you have to make is, what are we going to make? What kind of non-alcoholic beers are we going to make? And so if you look at all the trends, you look at the analysis beer, of selling beer, and Pils, IPA, and wheat beers are kind of very popular, and so that we kind of started with that as a basis. And the wheat beer I wanted to be very light, very refreshing, very fruity, which I think it is. With I think it's the Nelson. This is one I always forget. I'm bad. I'm a bad father of my beers. I always forget their names. No, we've. I think it's got some Nelson Sauvin and some Mandarina Bavaria, and so I wanted to kick it off with that sort of fruity hop character. And then we had a kind of a tropically hop extract and a little bit of natural lime and orange flavor to kind of, again, get that nice fruity, crisp wheat character, obviously with wheat malts and pale malt to get that flavor. And so looking at it, it's got a little bit of haze like a wheat beer's supposed to. It's
for sure.
Very nice kind of foam, good cling. Again, very happy with that. And living in Texas as I do, it was my definitely go-to for the summertime.
And it absolutely shows why. It's super drinkable, crushable. And for me, anytime I experience a new beer, it's always the nose. Like, can you get the nose, ballpark wise, what I feel, in this case, a wheat beer should be. And for me, I mean, it's all those really nice, bright notes. Flowery, floral, you get there's a little bit of hoppy, it's just kind of hanging out in the back there, and just fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Didn't want it too bitter.
Yeah, the nose is really pretty. Yeah, very fresh, very fruity. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and does it smell like beer?
Now that I've tasted it, now that's a great question, because I tasted it, and now I'm like, yeah, it tastes like I think a beer should.
Tastes like beer.
Does it smell like a beer?
Yeah,
hopefully it smells absolutely like a beer. A little fruity beer, but yes.
Yeah, and I think that's it right there. Yeah. Like, if I were to give this to someone and never tell them this is an NA beer, I think they would say this is a fruit beer.
Yeah.
Or this is a fruited something.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just that really nice floral quality, and I think fruity is right.
Little malt, little cereal
exactly.
kind of finish, which says beer. So yeah, I mean, that's the goal. We're making non-alcoholic beers, and so with the emphasis really on the beer, not really on the non-alcoholic.
Yeah.
you're going to get people that I do who say, well, what's the point, right? Why am I drinking a non-alcoholic beer? And I guess the point for me is that, and for some other people is that, we want a beer. There's not, if you're grilling out or you're in the kitchen at home after work or you're whatever, and you want that taste of a beer, but you don't necessarily want to worry about, if I have a couple, am I going to be really sleepy at 8:30 in the evening as I'm trying to put the kids to bed, or am I going to be a little groggy or not feeling so fresh the next morning? You don't have to worry about that, but you still get your beer thing, and it scratches that itch, I think, that if you want to have a beer with dinner or something like that, but you want to make sure that you don't have too much and you feel good the next day, I think it's important. So that's the point. It kind of does both. It gives you the beer, but it also gives you the freedom to not feel like you've had too many the next day.
Well, and I think personally, like for the NA beer, just the realm in general, it's kind of exploded over the past couple of years at this point.
Definitely.
And it's just, it is, I think, fitting a specific need that people have been looking for. And I mean, this one does it great.
We were at a media brunch earlier, and that's something that really big beer companies are obviously they're talking about.
Yeah.
And it was Jim from Sam Adams was Boston Beer. He's kind of talking about that same thing of, this is not necessarily this is all I drink, or it could be. It's for everyone. It's for a beer drinker who, yes, I want a beer, but I don't want everything you just mentioned. I don't want to feel heavy. I don't want all the stuff that goes along with it, and not today. I
was in a meeting today talking to a distributor, and really led by my sales guy and Declan and marketing. Just numbers is that if you go to the store and you're kind of watching the carts go by, people that are buying non-alcs, 90% of them also have some alcohol in the basket.
Exactly.
And so it's just another option for them, maybe be for them or for their friends. Maybe they're being conscientious about it and do that zebra drinking thing that some people talk about, right? You have a beer, have a non-alcoholic beer,
for sure.
Yeah,
something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's my experience. Am I going solely to NAs? No, but it's that it's a Tuesday and I've got to go to work, or I've worked out and I don't want all of that.
Yeah,
and I still want those flavors.
Yeah, and that's just to kind of bring Tom into the conversation here. That's kind of where he started. Tom did go completely sober. He went sober about 3 years ago. He woke up one on New Year's Day and said, "Man, I don't feel like great. What am I doing? I think I'm going to do the dry January thing," which turned into dry January, February, which turned into dry. I'm going to try to get to my birthday, which is in early June. And then by that time, he was like, "Okay, I think I'm living better. I'm feeling better, and I'm just a better person personally without the alcohol." And then when he kind of started researching this and getting into the non-alcoholic space, his brother's a chef. The other one's a director, producer, actor, and they still have a beverage. They still drink beer and have wine and stuff like that. And he's not telling people that that's bad. He goes, "Hey man, I made this choice and I wanted to make these beers so I could hang out with my friends, feel like I'm enjoying it, having a beer with them," because that's a thing, right? Pub culture in the UK.
Absolutely.
So I want to be with them and be enjoying that and not feel like I'm drinking my, my soda and lime over here and kind of just feel awkward.
Yeah.
But he doesn't deny anybody else. It's going to be maybe having an alcoholic beverage or something like that. And so he just wants it to be out there as an option and a part of making people's lives better and more enjoyable and giving them another option when they're hanging out with friends.
Yeah, totally.
Going and having a beer.
And I've found just in the last couple of years since more NAs have come out, it's that I still want to feel, like you just mentioned, Grant, I still want to feel a part of. I don't want to feel like, Nick's over there just drinking water, where holding a can, there's something, aesthetic, there's something, that atmosphere that you're holding a can or you're holding a glass and I don't feel like an outsider.
Yeah.
I'm still doing the thing. And it also in some ways makes everyone else feel comfortable too. Because, you've made that choice. You don't want to do that. We support that. But don't feel, I guess, in some ways judged because Yeah, and
that's the other thing that makes you obviously, this is radio, so you can't see the or podcast, so you can't see the package, but part of the packaging was to really give it that premium look. You know, if you're holding it in your hand and it looks like a kind of, I think, a classic beer can.
Absolutely.
Looks good
Yeah.
with the gold cream color bottom on the wheat. In addition to brewing, I occasionally get out and try to sell things. And so I did a meeting with a guy at a restaurant group down in Texas. I'd known him from a previous job. And, I was saying, hey, can I come in, taste you on some stuff? And sure. So I had this meeting with him and managing partner. And we're kind of into it. We're into it about 5 minutes. And he finally goes, wait, he looks at the can and goes, this is non-alc. And I'm like, yeah, that's where we're going here. He's
Highest
like,
compliment.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool packaging. I'm like, okay, great. Well, let's taste it, and then you'll really be hooked.
Right.
So, yeah,
Definitely high compliment when someone who expects something like, wait, and I like the aesthetic. I like what's going on. I think that's also a huge selling point for people.
And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of touches. A lot of these, and we can talk about the others later, but like Noon, like I said, is Tom and Zendaya's dog. What's also kind of fun is here on the label under the BERO, you see this little flourish, right?
Oh,
you see
yeah.
a little fish.
Yep.
So that's taken off of the coat of arms of Kingston on Thames in the UK, where Tom grew up. So it's just we call it the humble trout. The little trout down there is again, an homage, a nod to his family and where he grew up. So
That's so cool.
And he's got a great family. They're very tight and very supportive of each other. Great people. Got to meet them too. So
Very cool.
It's been fun.
I mean, back to the beer, like I think that's where NA beers have come so far in the past few years, is getting to the actual beer experience.
Sure.
Like without sharing too many secrets, like has that been a difficult process for you guys to get it there?
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit of a challenge, honestly. But I came at it from my decades, as it turns out, of experience, right? And I wanted to do it in the simplest and most beer-like way. And so it's brewed. It's malt, water, hops, yeast. Obviously, we have a flavoring in this one. We have some hop extracts in these, but it's a low gravity type of brew.
Right.
And then fermented with a maltose negative yeast, and it works. I mean, if you get your conversions right in the brew house,
Right.
get your primary level or your original gravities correct, then it ferments the glucose that you've made for it, and then it stops. It's not like you have to get super aggressive with cooling. You don't have to centrifuge it after 24 hours. I've heard of ones where they add normal yeast at a relatively cold temperature. They really don't let it sit, and then centrifuge it off to get it off the yeast, but it has that real just sort of little kiss of yeast that's in there.
Sure.
And then obviously there's bigger companies that use technology.
Right.
So they'll make a full strength beer, and then they'll run it through a nano filter to separate the water and alcohol from the body of the beer. Or you run it through a vacuum distillation system where you pull a vacuum on it, beer boils at 70-something degrees, and you get rid of the vapor and maybe capture it for something else, and then you hold on to what's left behind, redilute, reflavor, and that sort of thing. But I find that beers that do that, beers that have used that sort of make a big beer, use some sort of separation technology, there's always or almost always, I can't say always, but because I may not have met that beer yet, but it has a cooked character. There's this sort of stripped character. It's missing some esters. It has some a dullish mid-palate because it's run through a process that I think kind of strips away the spirit of the beer, right? That fermentation character, whatever you've got in there, that organic acids, a little bit of esters that say, hey, I'm a beer. A lot of that gets stripped away.
Right.
And there's some technologies that will put it back, but I don't know. I don't know if the process of just running it through that high pressure, subjecting it to a little heat, does something.
It's like the NA beers of yesteryear always felt hollow.
Yeah.
It's beer?
Ish.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. It's in a grand scale, it's kind of a very full circle thing for me, because when I started my career back 40 years ago at Pearl Brewing Company in San Antonio, they made near beer. They made Texas Select near beer. And they ran sort of their tank ends and filter interfaces and stuff like that. They'd collect all that and they'd run it through a vacuum still to de-alcoholize it. And then they'd sell the alcohol, and then they'd take a little bit of this residual and redilute it, and they'd add some flavors. There was actually, I remember, a beer flavor, some sugar, some salt, some other things, and turn that into Texas Select.
Interesting.
Yeah, near beers.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I did at the very, very beginning of my career, and then now making, I think, a vastly improved product.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Can we try another one of them? One of these vastly improved products?
For sure. Yeah, so I'm going to bring you the Kingston Golden Pils.
Okay.
Again, depending upon the day and what people ask me, this is probably my favorite. And if you'll notice when I pour it out, it's got a really great foam. Just love the beautiful foam. And then it's got kind of a deeper golden color, right?
Yeah, it sure does.
And
Thank you.
Because it's modeled more after Central European Czech Pils, right? So it has a lot of Munich malts, a little nod to my friends at Weirmann Malting.
The malt is definitely prevalent on that.
So a lot of Munich Light and from Weirmann. And I just love that kind of malt bag, toasty,
Oh, man.
pure malt character. And then Saaz, right? Saaz to kind of give it that little bit of Czech, kind of savory, the little kind of spice that Saaz brings. And and it's great with food. I mean, just put that out with a steak, something like that. Goes with all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. And it has, it's a maltose negative yeast. So it doesn't have a ton of fermentation character, but it does have a little bit of that lager touch of sulfur that's in there from lager yeast. That's kind of built in there with that hopping.
Yeah, this one, back to your question earlier, does it smell like beer? And this one, even more so than the Noon Wheat, is this smells like a beer.
So for sure, and I actually like the second sip better than I like the first. It's kind of funny, it kind of primes the palate, and then you get that second sip in there. It's nice.
Yeah, it's where the Noon Wheat had a little bit of a haze to it. It's just crisp.
There's a little veil.
It's not perfectly
there's
clear,
but it's got a nice clarity.
Grant, I was asking you earlier, y'all officially launched last October.
Yep, October 16th. Our birthday's coming up.
And the whole process of creating BERO, about how long did that take?
Yeah, so I got hired, I guess I signed my paper January 1st of 2024. And so I was employee number 2 after the CEO. And so then it was like, I got to go find a place to do trial brews, right?
Yeah.
And it was harder. It turned out to be harder than I thought it would be. But again, I went back into kind of my past and contacted Siebel in Chicago, Siebel Institute of Technology. Mm-hmm. Primarily known really for beer education right now, but they have a little pilot brewery, about a barrel and a half, 45 gallons. And came to an agreement with those guys to kind of run through a series of brews. And so I kind of sketched it, did the theoreticals on paper, kind of sketched out the first versions of all of these. And then also used, I got in touch with a guy that used to work for me at Lallemand and said, I heard about this yeast you guys have, this maltose negative. And he goes, yeah. And it turns out they had a connection with Siebel as well. So
okay.
Neat.
It was like, cool. Can you give me some yeast? And he's like, yeah. Let's do this thing. And so, thanks, Eric. And then so started. I think the first trial brews we finally got off the ground. We had a little bit of a delay, but I think we finally got off the ground around the 1st of March, kind of first week or 2 of March with the first wave. And so brewed all 3. Kind of packaged them up in bottles, I think is what we could get at the time. And so shipped them out, shipped some to myself, shipped some to Tom, shipped some to John, and they were not that great. Yeah,
Trial and error.
Tom was like, what is this? This is not good.
Right.
And I'm like, I know it's not good. But it's sort of like,
it's a start.
This is a start.
This is the process,
This kind of gives us the direction we want to go in. Yeah, I think he was telling his brothers and his friends that, I don't know what we've done. This is not good. And I'll confess, it was not that great.
Right.
And so, but it was like, that's a great start. That tells, okay, now that I know what that brew system will do, now that I know what these levels of the various malts and hops are going to do, then I've got a direction. I know where to go from here.
Right.
And so version 2, light years better.
Yeah.
And in fact, I wouldn't have been ashamed to put any of the V2s out, really.
Oh, very cool.
I think the hazy was probably the one that was, at that time, the farthest off. And so made some adjustments, went for version 3, and then Tom was like, wow, this is great, very happy.
Right.
And the hazy was ready to go. Our Edgehill was ready to go. The wheat was pretty much there, and I could take it to the next level when we found our big brew house and we could go. And the pills needed a little more work. I wasn't happy with it. Mm-hmm. And particularly in the first versions, I used a different yeast that it didn't do what I wanted it to do. And so it was like, okay, so we're going to go back to the Lona. And then it was good. And then it was really just finding the balance. It was like how much malt, one with more Munich, one with less Munich. And then the hopping level was also variable there. And so made a couple more tweaks and had a version 4 and 5 of the pills and did another, I think I did a version 4 of the hazy. And it was like, okay, I feel like we're 95% there. I can make tweaks on the way to the big brew house if I need to.
Yeah.
Right.
And would have to, I was pretty sure. But yeah, I was happy with the general flavor profile. And and that carried us over.
So do you see these as products that like you're here, but you're not afraid to tinker with them, or like, nope, we've got it dialed in, and as we grow, as we get new products out, that's where the small adjustments are going to happen?
Yeah, I think this first 3, well, even the first 4, we'll taste the 4th. I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
Things may change depending upon hop crop year and stuff like that as usual. If something becomes harder to find, we may have to do some tweaking to hop character and stuff like that.
But that's half the fun too. I'm sure as a brewer, half the fun of like, in the challenge of this is now prohibitively expensive for whatever reason, or we can't get this, it's not readily available. So how do we maintain the quality of our product?
Yeah, and the flavor profile.
Exactly.
Because once you've established it, people don't really want to use. They don't want you to use it.
No.
Yeah, we're kind of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are fantastic. These are great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
They're really, and what I really like too, and the more that we've been doing this 5 years now, and the more that we talk with brewers and we talk with people who, they're maybe independent bottlers or they're working distilleries, it's very much a group of people that want to compete with one another, but are also happy to help each other too. And it seems what you said early on in this process is there's still some of that going on, even at a large level as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the greatest things about being in the brewing industry that I've loved is that collegial feeling.
Yeah.
Right? I have been around for a while, so I've made friends and colleagues throughout the years that I can call back on and say, hey, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
Or do you have any experience with this hop? So those connections come in handy. And then just broadly, if you're in the brewing industry and you're a brewer, if you show up at the door of somebody's brew house and say, hey, how you doing? I'm Grant. I'm with BERO. And they'll say, who? Right now?
That will change.
That may change.
It will change. I can feel it.
But no, it's come on in, let's taste. Let me show you around.
Yeah.
And that's always a lot of fun. And glad to do that myself when I can.
Shall we move on to another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What do we have next?
Yeah. So next we have our Edgehill Hazy IPA. I talked about the Kingston Golden Pils, which was named after Tom's hometown. Edgehill Hazy IPA is named after Tom's secondary school outside of or in Kingston. Imagine naming it after your high school, right? And that's basically what this does. And he his old headmaster found out that he named a beer after the school, and I'm not sure the headmaster was all that keen on that, but little publicity I don't think ever hurts, really, regardless of where it comes from.
Totally.
Yeah. But again, we call it a hazy IPA.
Oh.
If you look at it, it's not super hazy. It has a veil. We didn't want it to be like milkshakey. Just a veil. I really leaned in on New Zealand hops, right? So really like Motueka, which is kind of the backbone of this one. That great lime character that comes out of Motueka.
Right.
And then if you go to New Zealand and you're making New Zealand ales, there's a little bit of that dank, a little bit of that that nectaron note, and then
sure.
a little bit of Nelson Sauvin is in there as well. So
that nose is fantastic.
Yeah, as soon as that one cracked, it was immediately in the air.
Yeah, no, it's got a great. I really like it. That tropical floral lime that's in there, and that little bit of funk and diesel that comes, or whatever dank that comes from the nectaron.
Right.
Really adds more of that tropical complexity too. And then super drinkable. We wanted to be approachable.
Yeah.
I didn't want hop burn. I didn't want any of that sharpness on the finish. In one of the early versions, it was a funny thing where I guess before I added it was also very pale, even paler than this originally.
Wow. And
Tom poured it for Zendaya, and Zendaya goes, I kind of like this, which means it's probably not a beer. And so I was like, thanks for the feedback there, Tom. And so we beered it up a little bit. We added some oats, some malted oats, and got the color up a little bit to be a little bit more beer-like, and added some that malt character. There's a cereal under there, but it really says it's really more about the hops.
For me, it's the mouthfeel too, because like if you're gonna put hazy IPA, and if you crack it and it doesn't, first of all, it doesn't smell like a hazy, or it doesn't smell like an IPA, we have problems. That absolutely nails it.
Yeah.
And then my secondary thing is, are you tasting that same realm? Nails it. Then the tertiary is, do you get the mouthfeel?
Yeah.
Does it feel like you're just drinking a seltzer? Does it feel like you're drinking water? Does it feel like you're drinking a beer? And this feels like you're drinking a beer. It's not heavy, it's not watery, but you still get that mouthfeel.
Yeah, it's got the mid-palate sweetness, which I really like.
Yeah.
Balances the hoppiness, and there's a touch of bitter, just that little bit of just snap at the end. And then I just love the head. I mean, just the foam on that. It just sticks around. It's like just like egg whites almost. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. I really thought, based off of the nose, that we were about to get into like a really bitter bomb here.
Yeah, me too. I went, oh.
It is more just like just a touch at the end. Like that's really good.
Appreciate that.
What do you see as, building a new brand, building a company, making all of these decisions? What do you see as kind of the things that you're excited about the most?
Yeah, it's a new world, really. I mean, for me, I'd worked for Samuel Adams, relatively large, established beer company, great people, great beers, very great at what they do, make great beers, even with truly very clean seltzer, Twisted Tea, which is its own animal, but also very interesting. No, just do a lot of things well, and they've done their best to try to keep their finger on the pulse and become an established, broad-based craft brewer, right? And coming from that, and then going down to Granbury, where I started Revolver Brewing from the ground up, right? Pour a slab, put up a building, put some equipment in there, and get brewing, right? And you're hyper local. We were the first brewery in the county, and then trying to drive beer up into the Metroplex, up into DFW, self-distributed for a couple of years, got drivers, again, just trying to build that community and build that loyal customer base, just one, really almost one person at a time, and let them come down to the brewery and hang out on Saturdays, and very craft, just very, and very, very local. Watching BERO has been a very different experience from this, where you've got an international superstar, Tom Holland, who wants to get into the business. He's an actor. He does a lot of charity work, but this is his one and only kind of consumer product. He's not out slinging a bunch of stuff, and he's very interested in it. Was very interested in the process and in the product. And so taking that as a base, where you're working with this guy who's just famous and an influencer, and then trying to build a brand world around that and with that.
Right. And
starting at, the branding and the packaging and the look of it and the feel of it, creating the story. And it's actually not even really creating the story. It's just telling the story.
Yeah, it's already there.
It's already there.
Yeah.
And then hiring the people, really great people, to build the core of this team that started this. John Herman, CEO of Nutrabolt and C4, grew it from 200 million to 800 million. Obviously a sharp guy, great operator, He's the CEO that got hired by Tom and the capital company that started this whole thing. Great guy, sharp guy, great to work for. Jackie Widman, who's vice president of marketing, came out of the ABI area, not in beer, but on the non-beer categories for ABI. Has extensive experience even prior to that in other consumer products. Sharp lady, really smart, creative, helped guide us to this thing. Cool. Working with other marketing firms and branding firms to help create the imaging and the logo and the name BERO itself out of a couple of different ones that we were looking at. This was the first one, went through a couple of others, came back to this one. Yeah, this is the one we like. And in retrospect, super obvious, right? BERO, Zero,
right.
Hero, the whole thing. There's just so many layers you can play in here.
Right.
Neha, who's our VP of Ops, I beat her into the company by a couple of hours, so I get to claim number 2. Sorry, Neha. She's so smart, just amazing. I get to play good cop. She gets to play bad cop. She relishes every negotiation, I think, and she's just great at it. So really sharp, motivated individuals who really want to see this grow. There's a whole bunch of others now. I mean, Declan's our senior vice president of sales. He's been at Diageo. He's been at a bunch of different places, well experienced, well connected. So I think we've got a great team to get this thing really launched. I'm really excited for it.
Sounds super rewarding.
Yeah, I mean, this is
to this point.
I like to call this my 5th act, right? I started at Pearl, Act 1, went to Lone Star, Act 2, went to Sam Adams, a very long and very successful and very great Act 3. Left Sam, started my own brewery down in Texas, finally listened to those people who kept telling me I need to do this, but I was ready for it right before I turned 50. Started Revolver, was blown away. I was in the height of the hurricane and was just blown away by the success that we had. Really happy. And again, it's not just beer. It's about all the things that go around it. And then, so now I've got BERO, my Act 5. It's just been a great project and a lot of fun to really, and it's a challenge for me as a brewer. I've been around for a while, made a lot of different beers, haven't really gone into the non-alc side, except from way back, like I said, at Pearl.
Right.
And so I felt it as a challenge. I felt it as a great opportunity for me to really kind of take everything I've learned and make something that people enjoy and just technical challenge too. It's a lot of fun.
What I find interesting too about what you've said is, there are celebrities that will buy a brand and do nothing. Like they're just a face, or they're just I've poured money into this and that's all. But what I'm hearing from you in terms of Tom is, no, this is my story. This is who I am, and that both Tom and Zendaya have signed off on these in some way.
For sure.
And in that, no, this is something that I stand behind.
Yep.
And this is something I also love, and this is something that I want to see be successful long term. And I think that's really cool that you have the backing to be able to then, as you're creating new things, that here's someone who loves this and is involved and wants this to be successful.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
There's one more can.
There is one more can, which I'm both really excited about and incredibly hurt by. There's just one more.
Yeah. So this is our double tasty West Coast style IPA. Gonna crack it. Here we go.
Nice.
And it's called Double Tasty. Double Tasty is a kind of a catchphrase that Tom and his friends have, his brothers have. So if they're out, they're having a dinner, eating something, they go, "Oh man, that is double tasty." And it was kind of funny because we're like, that's kind of a silly name. Do we really want to do that? And then we were at the launch in New York last year about this time, and again, we had kind of a big family dinner. His brothers, his parents were there. We were all there, and some of his friends. We're all just having this dinner before we really get launched. And we heard that. It was like, "Oh, man, this food is double tasty." And we're like, "Huh? I guess it's legit. I guess
you guys really are
a real
saying
thing."
I mean, it's little things like that I think are going to connect so well.
Yeah.
That everything has such a personal touch to it.
Yeah.
And all the way down to the beer in the can. It has all that history and all that kind of curation.
Sure.
You can totally notice all of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Thanks. Yeah, so West Coast style IPA. If you talk to 100 brewers, there's 100 different opinions on what is a West Coast IPA.
That, yeah.
On the first versions of this, I went back to that kind of caramel bomb with a lot of Cascade, and I was going 90s, 80s, 90s, what I would have thought of as kind of West Coast, Central California IPA.
Right.
And people just don't like that anymore. I guess.
Taste has changed.
Yeah. It phased out for a reason. And so I, dialed back the caramel, but kept some more newfangled hops, supposedly. So there is a little Cascade in there. It's, again, homage to the very beginning. Mosaic, and then Eldorado, which I really like. And so dry hopped with some Eldorado. There's a little bit of some Amarillo hop extract in there. The other kind of kicker here, which is kind of interesting, if we've talked a lot about the hops, and it is an IPA, but we wanted to kind of dip our toes into sustainability and regenerative agriculture. And so went digging around in Google and was looking around about malts, regenerative agriculture malt. And so we found Proximity here in Colorado that has a regen malt program.
Oh, that's
cool. Tasted some of their malts, and basically most of it, over 90% is the Proximity malt here from Colorado. So it's got a very bright kind of hop character, very smooth malt with just a little bit of that caramel note in there. So I guess more of a newfangled West Coast IPA, or my Texan informed by East Coast version of a West Coast IPA. And again, great foam, beautiful.
Yeah, I'm
really
almost
love
like
it in the
most
glass.
impressed by the foam.
Cling, I
on
mean,
each
look
one
at
of
the
them.
cling. Look at the cling on this microphone.
Like, I feel like that's usually kind of a characteristic of like NAs of like that they don't carry much foam. Like they dissipate so
Foam
quickly.
goes
but, like,
fast, doesn't cling.
But man,
No,
these are just like holding on forever.
Yeah, it's like egg whites, but no eggs were harmed in the creation of these beers.
Yeah, that's just absolute delightful.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I really like that. There's just a little bit of the bitter there. The sweetness is not super big or bold. It's just even keel all the way through.
Yeah, the goal is to make it drinkable, right?
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily making beer for me. I'm making beer for others.
Sure.
So,
What do you see, Grant? What do you see as the man? Just lost it. I'm impressed by it.
you just floated off.
Yeah,
a little.
What was that? What
Got
were you
lost in
asking?
the beer.
Yeah. The great thing is you guys don't take notes or anything. So
I know. We did at some
you don't
point.
write anything down. That's good.
Yeah,
That was a couple of years back.
Yeah, we used to take notes. Now we're like, it's fine. Let's try that again. What?
You're acting like you guys have been drinking or something. And you really haven't. Just to make, I want this to be perfectly clear.
That'll be edited out. No one will hear anything.
Longish day.
Yeah. What excites you most about the future of BERO?
We're at the doorstep right now. You know, when we talk about you gotta crawl before you walk before you run. We're in the crawling phase right now. Really, we're about to stand up and start toddling around and breaking stuff. And that's an exciting moment, is when you really turn the corner, and you're getting the brand recognition. And I feel like we're right on the cusp. And there's some really fun things that I can't exactly talk about right now that are going to kind of kick that in the tail. I think I can talk about one thing that's going to be really fun. In a couple of weeks, I don't know when this comes out, but in a couple of weeks, later here in October, we're going to announce a branding deal where BERO will be the official non-alcoholic beer of Aston Martin.
Oh,
wow.
That's
cool.
cool.
We'll be at their Aston Martin Formula One events.
Sure.
Some co-branding that's happening in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then perhaps some future design packaging stuff with them.
Interesting.
So it's that sort of really high-end luxury pieces that Tom can bring to the table.
Right.
And that's going to be really interesting where that goes. We've got a couple other cool things that are going to come out that I think will have national attention. Another really, again, kind of going on this global, international kick. Other fun thing is I'm 99.9% certain that by the end of this year, I'll actually be brewing this in Europe.
Oh, wow.
For the UK and insertion into the European market. So from zero, BERO at zero on January 1st of 2024 to January 1st of 2026, it's just like a rocket.
Yeah.
And it's
Just
it's gonna
hold
be
on.
very-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. And again, for me, weirdly at this time, as kind of the gray hair in the group, it's really gratifying to watch this and to work with these really smart, much younger people than me. And I'm learning a lot. It's even now. So it's really cool.
And that's what I was thinking of, like, I mean, we're closing in on the 1 year mark. Like, has the release and the reception been what you were hoping for?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, reception's great. You're always going to have folks that don't like something.
Sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we get our detractors. We get people who go, I don't really like it, for whatever reason.
Right.
But what's really cool is there's no real hate. There's none of this really kind of ugliness. We're here at the Great American Beer Festival.
Right.
And you have all kinds of folks walk up and they want to talk to you and they want to taste your beer. And again, you'll have folks that, I don't know, what's the point? Why am I drinking in this? I'm like, it's your choice for sure.
Yeah, sure.
If you don't like it, that's cool too.
Right.
And then you have people that come up, like we did last night, a gentleman who walked up and said, I love your product. I have it in my fridge at home. I am so glad you're here.
Wow.
I'm so psyched that,
cool.
that you're making great beer that I can drink whenever I want to.
Yeah.
And so those things, that's absolutely worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
And it's very gratifying to hear that from folks.
As we wrap up, Grant, where can listeners get their hands on some of your amazing products here?
Well, honestly, the very easiest way to go, depending upon the state that you're in, that's my caveat, is to go to BERObrewing.com. The great thing about non-alcoholic is you can have it, in most cases, shipped directly to your house. We have a great club, Club BERO, where loyalty thing where you can build points, get free gifts, get the first opportunity to order new beers, things like that, which we do have right now that we couldn't bring to the festival because it's so new it didn't get out in time.
Oh no!
We have this coffee draft. We can't call it stout because it's not a stout, I guess, in the eyes of the TTB. So we call it coffee draft, which is a stout-like NA made with cold brew coffee from Happy Coffee, which is Robert Downey Jr.'s coffee company.
I was just saying, I saw something last week.
So we brought the heroes together. It's
incredible.
like peanut butter and chocolate to bring the thing.
They've been
two great things that go great together. Yeah, the Avengers assembled to make a product. It was great.
Incredible.
And so, brought that out recently, and it's gotten rave reviews. Very cool. It's nitrogenated, so a little less carbonation. So when you crack it open, pour it in the glass, get that good cascade and beautiful smooth finish.
You got some of that upstairs?
I don't. I'm sad. However, there may be one down the block at the Target. I didn't walk over to the Target.
Oh, okay.
I should go look.
We might have to go take a peek.
Go take a look. So going back to the original question, which was how do you get it? Go to BERObrewing.com.
BERObrewing.com. Okay.
You can also we're on Amazon.
Okay.
So you can order from Amazon.
Very good.
And then depending upon where you are in the country, we are at a lot of Target stores, Total Wine stores, Sprouts. We hope to really, since you guys are from Florida, we've been talking to Publix.
Yeah.
Tell your Publix people that you want, if you have friends at Publix, please tell them that they want BERO. And so we've been talking to them. Yeah, we're trying to get out into most major grocery.
And how about for our listeners in the UK, Ireland? Is there shipping there yet, or is it?
There is. You can order it online in the UK. We're working on a couple of different retailers there on the grocery side.
Okay.
But we are, last I knew, still at Selfridges in London.
Okay.
So we had placement there last I knew. So try Selfridges.
Okay.
For now.
We appreciate you taking the time out of a crazy busy schedule here at the GABF.
Thanks for letting me sit down. That's really.
We had chairs for you.
Last night it was like, that's 5 hours just standing there slinging beer. It's nice to sit down.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the time. It's been great talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, congratulations, because what you've put together is fantastic.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thanks, Grant.